You know what I find really hilarious about SmackDown? The fact that you've got AEW Dynamite and everyone on that show kills themselves, does, dangerous stunts, moving at 1,000 million miles an hour. It's really funny that even though that's a bad show too, that you've got all those guys doing all that, and you've got SmackDown where there's like no effort at all. Not that the wrestlers are not working hard, but you've got AEW is really like raising the bar, and guys are just they're shaving years off their careers doing all that garbage. And then you've got SmackDown, a show like this that makes no effort at all. Like you see that there is effort in AEW, well, like in the in-ring stuff, but SmackDown just there's like nothing there. It's a barren wasteland, and both they're bad shows, but it's really funny in comparison that they're doing all that over there in AEW and SmackDown. They're on Fox. This is a big opportunity, guys. We're gonna. Vince McMahon said he was gonna bring back a new wrestling boom period with Fox, and Vince, if you're gonna bring back a new wrestling boom period, at least learn from the last wrestling boom period. The last time you had one was 19 years ago. Gonna be 2 decades pretty soon. So, but he's going to do everything in his power, I guess, to make sure that, the next wrestling boom period never happens. I mean, do you realize that this is the largest gap in a wrestling boom period? And all you have to do is take a look at this show and realize why that is. You will see that since they've moved to Fox, they made no effort. The only effort I ever saw from them so far was putting The Rock on in the opening segment. That was basically it on the first episode. Ever since then, ever since The Rock, it's been nothing. There hasn't been anything good, notable, or excellent, or awesome on SmackDown. It's all been the same stuff that they were doing ever since the USA Network days. Just a flashier set, a better intro, some really superficial things. That's about it. Just some really superficial things. There's nothing really else. And, you want an even better example? Take a look at this opening promo by Baron Corbin, King Corbin. So, this promo right here, this features a guy that, he's been through a lot, King Corbin. The fans, the Smarks, they hate him. They don't like him. I've always been praising him ever since his NXT days. He really came a long way. I think he did a pretty good job doing the Raw GM stuff. A lot of people gave him a lot of crap over that, but the guy really held his own. Even though everyone on the internet was crying and rallying against him, he still played the role pretty well. And you saw the guy was really developing verbally. And even in this promo, I will say the facial expressions he tried here. He challenged, he's cutting a promo on Roman Reigns, who he's going to be facing in the main event of tonight's show. And this promo, it must have been, written, tailor-made for Vince McMahon. And I really don't understand this. Like, if this is made for Vince McMahon, how come when Vince McMahon used to cut a promo back in the day, it used to be the best promo on the show? But, Vince McMahon and the writers and all the promos that McMahon likes are promos that he wouldn't necessarily cut. That's what I really fail to understand. I don't know where the standards are at, but how does a promo like this get approved? I don't know, but let's talk about it here and analyze it. So he starts off talking about Roman Reigns, and he says that Roman's not here. He's doing Make-A-Wish, and Corbin kind of he did which slightly mocking him. I was kind of surprised they they did that type of thing. It bordered on edginess, but it wasn't really quite there. So, we'll move on. He starts saying that, the big dog, that's his name, that his nickname, his moniker, he starts saying that the big dog is starting to sound a little bit like a chihuahua. And he starts barking. A grown man, a man in his 30s, wearing a cape and a crown, barking like a chihuahua. He's going, yip, yip, yip. And like, that. Not only that, but he puts a graphic of the big dog symbol, Roman Reigns symbol that's appeared like on his most recent t-shirts. And it's a really cheesy CGI cartoon, representation of it. And it's barking like a chihuahua, and he's barking like a chihuahua. And then you would think like right here, they would stop it, because this is getting no reaction at all. The crowd's not feeling it. No one's laughing. No one's into it. Call an audible. Move on to the next segment. Or, tell Corbin to bring it home or something like that. It's not Corbin's fault. He's just, going off the script. He's trying to get this over, even though it would be impossible. Even The Rock or Stone Cold wouldn't be able to get this over. First of all, The Rock and Stone Cold wouldn't even accept this promo. But, with Corbin, all the things he's been through, they had Cena come out there and call him a dumpster fire a few years ago. They, had him lose the Money in the Bank briefcase in the most embarrassing way possible. At least, Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens now in NWA, at least they gave that guy, a close match against Cena. This guy, just lost in embarrassing fashion. So they did everything in their power to try to bury the guy. And they try to build him back up in a, very gingerly fashion. But like, call an audible. Do something here. And, and you gotta love how, the writers bury themselves. Or what has Roman Reigns done lately? The bookers and the writers getting burying themselves through Corbin's promo. Exactly, you haven't done anything with Roman Reigns. What did Roman Reigns do with Crown Jewel? The Fiend is winning, the Universal title. Brock Lesnar's defending his title against, Cain Velasquez. And Roman Reigns is in a, in a multi-man tag team match, representing Hulk Hogan for no reason at all. So, they're really doing a lot with the guy, who beat The Undertaker in the main event of WrestleMania a few years ago. I mean, I don't get it, because the fans didn't like him being at the top. That's why. So, to top off Corbin's promo, he takes out poop bags and, says that the fans are going to have to, wipe away his excrement from the ring. And I'm like, why are we, like, are you serious? Are we really talking about excrement, dog poop, doggy bags? Like, you have this man dressing up in the cape and crown. He's pulling poop bags out of his pockets. I mean, are you trying to make this guy look like a total goofball, like a creepazar, like a guy that walks around with dog poop bags as props? Like, are you serious? Like, did they not think this through? Like I said, like, how is he even going home with that? They should have said, stop, cut, like, I mean, how do they even think that this is good? It really shows that, like, they don't care what they put out there. It doesn't matter how cringy or random or stupid it is, because it was all of those things, and that's what they do. And you can make the argument, oh, he's cutting a heel promo and he's the big dog, so they're doing like dog related things. But I mean, from the barking to the poop bags, I mean, how much worse could this promo have gotten? And not only that, but like, you're asking people on a Friday night to watch this. Like, they're watching a man standing there in a cape and crown talk about, dog excrement. Why a cartoon CJ dog is barking on the Titantron and he's barking too. I like, how does this look? I understand, wrestling fans, people like us, like sitting here watching the show. We're used to this stuff. But do you realize, like, if someone saw you watching this and like a normal person that's not familiar with this, watches this, like, what do you think their reaction is going to be? Like, honestly, this is why people say they're like embarrassed to say they watch this stuff, because quite frankly, this is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them. I'm embarrassed for anyone who actually thinks, wrestling is good nowadays. This is the greatest time in wrestling. Sure it is, There's nothing I'd rather do than on, on a Friday night than sit at home watching Baron Corbin bark like a chihuahua. Let's move on, because, it doesn't matter what angle you look at this from. It looked like complete garbage. It was garbage. It should have never happened. But this is how you kick off your show on Fox. And I'm thinking, like, this is the channel that had, for Family Guy, The Simpsons, like, you had House on there, all these adult comedies and dramas, and this is what we're getting. This is an embarrassment. Fox should not be marking out over this. You see the execs, like, they've got some real morons over there at Fox. Have you seen, like, the Fox, WWE on Fox, like, social media pages? There's a bunch of marks working over there at Fox. Now it makes perfect sense. I'm thinking, like, these are some sophisticated, adjusted, individuals, but, like, they're just as bad as anyone in the crowd. Let's move on. We've got New Day defeating the Revival to win their 7th tag team championship. And I need to ask a question, like, first of all, I thought they won it more times than this. But, like, they've won it 7 times already. At Kofi Kingston, he was WWE champion less than a month ago. And, or maybe it's like a little bit, more than a month ago at this point. But now he's just satisfied with being a tag champ. Forget about the WWE title. He's forgotten about that completely. It's back to normalcy again, winning the tag team titles nonstop. What are we doing here with these guys? The Revival winning the Raw tag belts, then they drop the belts, then they win them back, and then they win the Smackdown ones, and then New Day's taking them away. Like, this is just stupid already. Like, winning. This team should be broken up. You should have just had them lose here to the Revival. Have Big E turn on him. What is it? Like, they're scared to lose merchandise sales by turning people heel. This is the mistake that they made with John Cena for so many years. They refused to turn the guy heel. They won't do it no matter what. They might never do it. Think about that for a moment. We think we're talking about John Cena, all those years rumored heel turn. Like 8 or 9 years later, we're still waiting for the heel turn to happen. It never happened, so I wouldn't hold my breath for Big E to turn heel. How much longer are they going to keep this tag team going? It's not the Legion of Doom. It's not Demolition. It's not one of those types of teams. So what is the point of going on with this? You've done every conceivable thing. They've thrown every possible food item at the crowd. They've made every stupid last joke they possibly could. Made every single lame facial expression known to man. They've done every single cringy segment that, was written down for them to perform. I'd say it's time to call it quits already. But they keep on going with this garbage. And now it's time for another tag team title run I mean, this is just wonderful. It's everything I could have asked for. I mean, like, it's like with Charlotte constantly winning the women's championship. Let's inflate these guys' numbers by having them win the belts so close together until a point where it's almost meaningless. Doesn't anybody look at this and like, these people, they've been around for 4 years and they're winning the belt this many times? No, actually, New Day's been around longer than that. It's been like 5 years or something like that. And, there's no sign of it stopping. It's like a runaway train. They just keep going with this garbage. It's a never-ending train of garbage. We've got Sami Zayn talking to Daniel Bryan with the offer. I'm already losing interest in this storyline. Heavy Machinery has a scheduled match, but we never find out their opponents because Imperium interferes. And it's funny, this isn't even NXT. This is NXT UK. And the NXT, not champion, but the NXT UK champion, Walter, interferes. Then we get Big E and, some other guys run out to make the save. And I'm like, who even cares? The match didn't even happen. We never found out their opponents. Never mind that little fact right there, But like Imperium, like this is, not only, like here's the funny thing. It's like not only, even when it, was on the network, not only was NXT barely getting any viewership, so, but NXT UK gets even less. So why, when you've got something so small, why would you make something even smaller? Like everyone knows that there, a UK variation is not going to really work. And I ranted on this like the first time they introduced the NXT UK Championship. I said it was a bad idea. They didn't need that belt. They didn't need to open up another branch. They're trying to open up a Japanese branch of NXT. You're going to have 3 different NXTs now. It's like, where does it stop? How many mini promotions does the WWE need to operate when they can't even get the main one right? Now, I know a lot of people say that NXT is the one that they get right, but I disagree. I think that it's I don't think it's anything special at all. I think it's a very overrated. It still is a developmental territory because, if these guys deserve to be on TV, in the main slot, they would. I can't even believe that this actually is in prime time on Wednesday nights on USA. But they would be on Raw, they'd be on SmackDown if they truly deserve to have those accolades. And no one's watching the show. I think it's probably the dumbest idea I've ever seen WWE make by trying to put that show on TV. I mean, what was gained by that? Yeah, of course, some advertising money, but they're getting really low ratings. Who's going to want to advertise on it when you're getting such horrible ratings? Once again, I could go on and on, but you get the point. I don't like NXT. I know a lot of people do. Some people. I'm just talking about, people here in the YWC and what they enjoy. But that's not really a good, barometer to go by because there's a lot of different ideas floating around. And I don't have to tell you that not all of them are good. Most of them are really bad. We've got Bayley and Sasha backstage, just cutting the absolute, worst, most boring promo known to man, basically. I mean, at least, the Corbin one, at least, I can't say it was boring, it was bad, but Corbin at least had me into it, sort of, to a point, I guess. That might be exaggerating a little bit, but it was at least a competently cut promo, based on, the excuse being that the writing was bad. This is just bad acting. I will say that the Corbin one at least was well put together. It sounded like a real person was at least talking. These sounded like two programmed robots. And then you hear the last line from Bayley, "We can play War Games 2." And it's like, what was that giant space there? And she always does that. She tries to remember her lines. Did she forget the word 2? Is that too tough? Can you remember to say all that other stuff in that robotic fashion, but you can't remember that last part. I mean, these are amateurs. And first of all, too, they just look stupid. Her with the damn hair, blue hair, and whatever this makeup is that they get. Oh, I'm a heel. Look at my eye makeup. It just looks really, really stupid. They look stupid. They sound stupid. It's stupid that they're even allowed on a national television show. I mean, sounding this horrible. We created the NXT Women's Revolution, whatever the hell they said. I mean, thanks to all of these, it's management's fault for allowing this to happen in the first place, allowing any of this to even take place. But I mean, these girls, I said it time and time again. I mean, the Dynamite stuff is even worse from AEW. I'll take this any day over watching a Rio match, and I know that's going to annoy a lot of people. I definitely will take it over a Sakura match or a whoever else they got. But you really start to appreciate the Trish Stratuses and the Litas and the Molly Hollies. Back then when apparently divas were disrespected, why was it so much more entertaining? And I felt like the wrestling, yes, the in-ring was better. How come when I watched Trish Stratus versus Mickie James from WrestleMania, why does that match look so much better? The WrestleMania 22 match. Why does that one look so much better than the garbage we're seeing here? Why were the promos better? Why were the matches better? Because they were. You've been lied to. You've been told that the women were supposedly suppressed in WWE, when I think that they were making more money. They were happier. And, first of all, let's rewind the clock here a few moments. These girls at WrestleMania, they lost the tag belts and they were lying on the floor crying in the hotel. Would you say that these are primetime players? Do you ever remember hearing a story with Lita, Trish about that? Why is that not talked about more? How come all these people with the grown men with the Sasha Banks and the Bayley hugger shirts, why are we not hearing anything from them about that? About that really childish behavior that they, that just happened at the beginning of the year, like a mere 7 months ago. Are we going to just completely remove that one from the record? Just completely forget about it. I mean, we're talking about two of the very worst I think I've ever seen in this company, and I'm not mincing words there. I'm not, using hyperbole or anything like that. I really mean what I'm saying. I think these are two amateurish, rank amateurs, and they're garbage. And it's not even about how, okay, it is about how they're being produced, that they're even allowed to go out there in the first place. But I think at this point, take it from Corbin, you should be a little bit better by now with your delivery. I'm just saying. Naka Murphy and Cesaro defeated Shorty G and Ali. Daniel Bryan is watching from the entrance ramp. I don't know how I'm supposed to get into this. What is with Naka Murphy? Seems like every time he wins a singles title, they put him in the tag team. So, you make him the U.S. champ. He tag teams with Rusev. You make him the IC champ. He's tag teaming with Cesaro, and who else was he teaming with after that? He was having tag matches with Corbin and stuff. Like, you know, if you want him to be like an Intercontinental champion, why is he always in like tag team matches all the time? Well, like, first of all, it's like amazing. I just still can't even think back about Nakamurphy. This guy won the Royal Rumble 2 years ago, and you think like they would never make him the Royal Rumble winner again. Like, did they really think that they were doing something honestly good? They were making a good decision when they did that? I mean, and I gotta say, I kind of feel sorry for the guy. It's nothing that he did. You know, they gave him this opportunity. He's not going to turn it down. Who would? You know, what are you going to say? Oh, I don't deserve it? No, you're going to go for it. You're going to go for the payday, and you're going to take that opportunity. But, you know, obviously, everyone, you know, who wasn't a Smark and who wasn't, a Japan Smark, you know, a big, you know, old Japan mark, then, you know, they weren't getting behind that decision. It was only the smarkiest of the smarks who were. So, you know, now people like to try to ignore that decision. I see it's barely mentioned once again. You know, it's kind of like the Sasha and Bayley thing. You know, let's ignore things that didn't even happen too long ago, you know, for convenience sake, so they don't look as bad because we were wrong by hyping these people up. You know, and Shorty G, like, you know, this guy, like, what are they doing to him? Like making him dress up like a goofball with a big G on his shirt? I mean, honestly, you know, it's almost like the Carmella outfit. You know, instead of it being like a leotard style, you know, it's like a slinget. But, you know, what? Like, it's just so comical. Like, are they purposely trying to make the guy look like a goofball? Like, what are they doing in this company? Look at all this garbage so far. The opening promo, the promo with the girls and everything. This guy's outfit, everything, the way it's all laid out. Like, they don't even take this seriously. Like, I honestly cannot believe that they sit down to write a show and they're like, good to go, guys. You know, it's so bad. And there's no quality assurance here. You know, there's no one checking to make sure that, you know, these things are good and that they're gonna be over with the crowd. It's just like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, everything is first take. You know, okay, certain shows get a rewrite. I realize that, but like, if they were rewritten, how were they the first time around? I mean, maybe they were genuinely good shows. I don't know. Then we get Sasha Banks defeating Nikki Cross. And, like, in this match, I felt like Nikki Cross was trying to go back to her old character. She grabs the head, you know, she attacks Bayley, which is like, she's a baby face. Nikki Cross is a baby face, and she's, like, lunging at her for some reason. Like, I don't know. They didn't even have, like, a good build up to that. Like, why was she just attacking her like that? She puts on the headset. She screams, Friday Night Smackdown! Ah! You know, in the UK, it's right. You know, we're in the UK, of course. And, like, I'm just sitting here saying to myself, like, what is going on here? Anyway, you know, whatever that was, Sasha Banks, you know, stops it, puts on the bank statement. The match is over. She taps out. Shayna Baszler comes out, beats down Bayley, and Sasha Banks is looking all worried. Like, wow, what a tough heel, right? You know? Just like getting, you know, looking all worried and scared. Like, these girls don't know how to act at all. It's really embarrassing. And the thing is, the company should be embarrassed for them by not even putting them in this position. You know that they're bad. You know that they're bad, and you're still letting them out there. Backstage, we've got Sami Zayn talking to Daniel Bryan again. Then all of a sudden, the lights start to flicker, and the Fiend attacks him. hooks on the mandible claw, and starts laughing maniacally. I don't know, but this is just so random. Like, they haven't shown anything with Bray Wyatt since Crown Jewel. And, like, there's nothing with him with the belt. There's, like, no mention of him being champion. They might have mentioned it throughout the night, But, I mean, does anyone see what I'm getting at here? It's like, he did not get to appear Friday night, last Friday, because of the whole, flight fiasco thing and NXT invading the show. But, so Monday night, they don't even try to make up for it because, oh, that's right, there's a brand split going on. So this week is like, okay, we got to make up for lost time. So what do? Just a quick backstage attack. Nothing to it. No story here. Okay, now we have to wait till next week. 1 minute of The Fiend. It was one of the most over things that you had on that garbage Crown Jewel show. And like, that's all we're getting of The Fiend. Your most over thing right now. And that's all we're getting of it. You gave us 10 minutes of doggy poop jokes, making fun of Roman Reigns, and that's not even world title stuff. I mean, what more do you want me to say? I mean, like, how do you want me to phrase this? Like, how does one even go about making sense out of that? The most over thing on your show, you dedicated not even a minute, 30 seconds to it. And you don't even see him with the belt. There might have been a brief mention of it somewhere on the show, but like, I mean, why? How? I heard that they like pre-taped this, by the way. So it's like, okay, so where's the promo? Where's the Firefly Funhouse? They posted something on WWE.com and on their YouTube. But, okay, that's their YouTube. How about the show itself? Nothing? Thanks for that. I mean, honestly, like, is it really a mystery why the ratings are so low? Is it really that much of a mystery why everyone hates this show? Why, even the smarks hate it? This is why the casuals have turned away. This is why you went from a near 4 million viewers all the way so low that you can't even get 2 million? You really want to like ask that question and ponder it and really try to like, mold it over. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, what an embarrassment. Like, you're not even in tune with the most popular thing. You gave the guy the title. And you're going to barely even show him. Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury apparently are going to be a tag team now. Tyson Fury comes out, and I don't get this. Like, apparently we're just supposed to be all into Tyson Fury. Yeah, I get it. I'm not a boxing fan, so I didn't know who he was prior to his WWE involvement. But he's talking to the crowd about, like, boxing victories, and people are giving these light cheers, and you damn well know that they don't know, what he's talking about. And he's a UK guy. Doesn't even seem like the crowd even cares that much about him. So right away, alarms should go off that something's terribly wrong here. Even the UK guy is not getting the big reaction. But of course, this is what we're getting. A tag team. And like, this guy knocked you out. There was nothing settled. You were counted out. There was no decisive. It was some BS finish to the match. They call it a TKO, but it was just a count out, really, in actuality. And they're forming a tag team. Braun is all for it. He, outstretched hand, shaking his hand, this is great. Like, this once again, this is everything I ever wanted. This like a Braun Strowman, Tyson Fury tag team. This is everything that we could have ever asked for. Like, what are you joking? And then like, Braun says, who's stupid enough to challenge us? And out comes the B team. They lay them out. Braun's got to do his stupid run around the ring, shoulder block. Tyson Fury hits a punch. Great, fantastic. I mean, like, how do they get like a heavyweight boxing champion in there and still no one cares? It really shows that like there's no effort being made here. Like, they just instantly think, oh, okay, we're getting a celebrity. Everyone's going to care. But you don't put them even in an interesting scenario. Everything done the laziest way possible. Like, who are they even going to challenge? The Revival? New Day? Like, this is the teams that you have. I guess they could put them against Heavy Machinery. Do I want to see that match? No. Like, Carmella and Dana Brooke. They defeated Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Hey guys, remember when the Fox Sports analyst said that Sonya Deville was gonna be that wild card pick? Yeah. Anyway, I don't even get this. Carmella's doing 7-second dance breaks like just a few months ago, and now she's in the team with Dana Brooke. Nothing's explained. There's nothing, no story told, and they're part of the Survivor Series team now, I guess. I don't get it. Like, Mandy and Deville have been this established team for about, like, what, 2 years now, maybe? I'd say is a safe bet. 2 years? And like, they're going to have that team job out to, like, a first time. Like, hey, guys, you already know that, how I feel about Dana Brooke. But come on. I mean, these two, like, first of all, how much has Carmella's stock fallen? I thought she was a great women's champion. She got all that heat. The crowd complained, when she got the heel victory, in the Money in the Bank. They had to redo the finish, which was like the most catering messed up thing I've ever seen in my life. It was a shameful face palming event in WWE history. And ever since then, it's been just monotony ever since then. I mean, like, just a random tag team she's thrown into. No explanation given, but they won. They won over the more experienced tag team. The one team that has the girl with the MMA background. And Dana Brooke, she's awesome when it comes to fitness and all that. She looks great and everything, but I mean, you haven't even been doing anything with Dana. And there's no build-up. Of course, there's no story. What do you think this is? A story? Story? I mean, come on. What do you think this is? Dr. Seuss? You ain't gonna get no story here. So then let's move on to the main event. Baron Corbin defeated Roman Reigns after Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode run in. I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, there's always some tag team, like, running in or something like that. Roman Reigns has to face a tag team. It's Harper and Rowan. It's the Revival. It's Roode and Ziggler. It's like there's tag teams all over the place. The Revival's helping out Orton. Like, these teams can't get over. They're totally aimless. There's no point even in having Ziggler and Roode as a tag team. So they're just like doing run-ins. Like, I don't get it. Like, McIntyre's helping out. Was helping out Corbin. But now he's on Raw, so he could only, I get help out Lashley. What? Can these guys have their own individual feuds and stories? Does everyone have to, like, be helping everyone else out and, be randomly involved in everyone else's business on this show? Can't they at least focus on two characters? It's always got to be like 4 or 5 or 6 guys, like, all getting wrapped up into one thing. This was like, Okay, this main event, I will say, as far as like wrestling goes, it was a good match. I watched this match, and it was like instantly better than any match I saw on Dynamite. People are going to say, oh, but it's true. No crazy video game nonsense. No, kicking out after 2. There was no botched referee finishes. You know what I'm saying, guys? I mean, like, honestly, this actually felt like there were like human beings in here and not video game characters. I mean, like, this is like how a match is supposed to be. I know we've lost sight of this. I know we were all expected to see 1,000 tope conhilos and tope suicidas, 1,000 times per match. But sometimes it's nice to get a few punches and kicks in there, a few slams, and at least when Corbin hit his finisher, the match ended. There was some interference, it made sense, and it was good. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, but I'm just saying, like, why does everybody need to get involved? So, this show was horrible. I mean, if you needed, like, any sort of context, I would just say go watch the opening promo of the show, to prove it. I mean, everything on here, there was no purpose for it. There was nothing here. They lightened up on the NXT stuff. You only had Imperium there for like a minute. Shayna Baszler showed up for like 30 seconds, and it was on to the next. So it's like, I think they realized that like the NXT stuff isn't really going over that well, so they kind of calmed down on it, despite people like loving the show. I still don't understand how so many people loved that show. I mean, but it really showed that, like, okay, this was better. This was better than that NXT show. Because at least that was just like, just a bunch of nobodies, like, burying your main roster. It was an embarrassment. This show was still an embarrassment, but at least it was just business as usual, and it wasn't them just, burying their roster in embarrassing fashion. It was basically what it normally is. A lousy script, a lousily put together show, and just uneventful. So there's SmackDown. Great job, here on Fox, doing absolutely nothing with this time slot, wasting away. How is Fox, like, still marking out for them is what I don't understand. This is, like, disturbing at this point. Like, no effort is being put into this show. And Fox is completely fine with this. Hey, The Fiend is really cool. I mean, yeah, The Fiend, like, are you going to call them out on that? The Fiend was only on there. Bray was only on there for 30 seconds. Your most over thing, your new WWE champion that you have exclusively on SmackDown. And you barely even show the guy. I mean, what an absolute joke in every sense of the word. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.